Good afternoon. My name is Tyler Robinson Sr., coming right at you live from Baltimore. My son Tyler Robinson Jr. is he's on the reels recording this. If you wouldn't mind, like me at Tyra R for Life, or hit me with your comments. I would greatly appreciate it. And also, I'll be coming out with some books later in the future. One would be Heights in Baltimore. Yep, that's where I'm at, live in Baltimore, Maryland. And another, Raising Roses, and then a few poetry books. It's unique. You know, these were things that were tasked way back that could have been, but they're presently now. So, what can I say? The talent is here, and the journey is great, and the persistence is on course. And so today we're just going to talk about the ladder, and it's just a sneak peek of me just getting my feet wet, adventuring out into the deep, because I just want to let y'all know that once you launch out into the deep, you're able to walk on the water because Jesus got your hand. Y'all got me? Okay. And then eventually, y'all get to see my son. Tyler, turn him around so they can get a glimpse at you.
Hello, people. Yeah.
That was my son. I'm senior, that's junior. T&T. And I'm not talking about the network. All right, everyone. So, there's a lot of things that we could talk about. So make sure that when you speak, when you let your voice be heard, that you're respectful, that you're mindful, that you're speaking what you would like to speak, that you're opinionated, but that it's what you believe. I will not dish you. I will give you honest truth, an honest answer. I'll tell you what I think. No cussing, please. And doesn't matter where you from, speak your truth. Give your answers. Give your thoughts on what you think we can do to not just change what's going on in the world or in your city or in the United States or your county or your state, but what action can be taken. And try not to be biased. We want to unite. You know, bias doesn't get us nowhere. You know, and then make sure you can hold yourself accountable. I love accountable folk, you know, accountable, unbiased folk that want to reach, not just want to reach across the aisle, because you know how it is on the Hill. People want to reach across the aisle, but they're holding grudges, they're holding things, moving themselves forward, because people funny. They say they want to do this, but there's always a reason they don't. You know, you can't have a reason why you don't and saying you want to do this, you know, acting like they can't chew gum and walk at the same time. But you can. We're doing it all the time. Let me stop playing with you. But anyway, our kids, they need us. They need the parents to be parents. To me, during the pandemic, parents realized, and many of you would say, well, speak for yourself. Well, parents realized that they need to parent more. You know, we're not home as much. We're not in the lives of our children as much because, you know, tech, school, outings or whatever, and, you know, our kids could go here or there. But the family during the pandemic became families. You know, families were home a lot more. Through the day, the parents and the children. Then the parents had to interact more with the children, homeschooling. And that stuff is stressful. Yes, I experienced it. But I relished it. Because, call me old school, before all the tech, my mom and dad, that's how it was. You know, so I relished it. And my son, he liked it. You know, there were some aspects of things that were challenging, but we made the adjustment. Now, all households wasn't like that, and there was stress all over the place. Yes, it was. But now that we are here in the now, we have to get involved in our children's lives. School is not a daycare center. After school is not a daycare center. We have to get in our children's lives. If we want to change some of the things that's going on in schools and our society, it starts at home, people. Parents, guardians, it starts at home. We can't blame everything on the school and the laws, and it starts at home. We got to get up and we got to know who our children's friends are. We got to know what's in those phones we buying them at an early age, that's keeping them busy. We got to monitor stuff. It's not enough to monitor what's on TV. Have y'all checked what's on TV lately? In America, we say, children getting involved in sex early, what their children cussing. Do you know a lot of the movies have the children cussing, and it's a joke? You see the cartoons where, cartoon characters are mooning each other. Have you seen the soft porn that they use women for? If a girl walked down the street in a bra and underwear, that's probably indecent exposure. But that's all the time on TV with the underwear and the bra. I mean, that's all the time. A brother walking down the street in his underwear, that's probably something wrong with him. Indecent exposure to get locked up. But that's all the time selling underwear on TV. I mean, America, we created this. It's everywhere. But no one's being held accountable until something happens. We have to change, but we write laws to protect stuff, the wrong stuff, and then when our kids start acting like this or something like this happening in our community, this or that, then it's a tragedy, and then it's something is protected. But when it's on movies and scripts or this or that, it's funny, and there's nothing funny about it. There's nothing funny about anything. There's nothing funny about nothing. Don't let the children listen to this music or that music. Look, all the tunes are Looney Tunes. It's the words that's going in their ears. Just because you stop them to listen to this music, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You can make the choice for your child. But if you're going to talk bad and this and that about what your children like, they're going to find another way. Sometimes you can push a child to something. But if you talk to them with a level of love and contrition and sympathy, and don't forget that you were a child, but don't put your onus on trying to live through the child, you can make a difference. You can make a difference. And then don't talk bad about their friends. Just don't. But you have to understand your children and their friends. Depending on how old they are, the neighborhood you live in, where the school is located, because there are a lot of variables. But as a parent, you have to take that time. You just can't rush through like it's a drive-through and it's your way or the highway. That ain't gonna work today. That ain't gonna work. It didn't work back then, it ain't gonna work now. It's just a different time. But if it ain't work back then, it ain't gonna work now. You're always gonna just be pushing them to them. You gotta give them advice and believe it's gonna work. And then you gotta keep sowing the seeds. You gotta keep sowing the seeds. Seed sowing. Keep sowing the seeds. Don't say this talk is it and that's it. No. And you gotta leave that door open. You gotta keep believing that your child can come to you. Keep that door open. Keep letting them know. And when they mess up, don't just bury the hatchet on them. Don't just ground them. Don't just whip on them. Oh, and stop calling them names. If a child done did something in this moment, make sure the discipline is dedicated or directed to that moment, that instant. If you're going to use a word, make sure it's a choice word for that moment. That's what I've learned and done, because I made plenty of mistakes. I have 8 kids, and I've learned a lot. And all our kids are doing well. Tyra is the last one. And I've learned plenty, still learning plenty to do better with him in his young teenage life. It works. It takes time. You can turn the corner. Ain't nothing wrong with apologizing to your child, but think about it. You tell your kids to walk with respect and don't cuss and don't do that, and you do it and you watch the same stuff. You say this is for grown-ups. No, sometimes you gotta come down. No, it's gotta be for both of y'all. It's gotta be for both. You can't tell your child, don't do this, but you do it. That's hypocritical. Some kids get it, some don't. You gotta know your child. You gotta know your kids. You gotta know their friends. You gotta know the circle. Some things ain't just gonna work. It's your fault. Yep, I said it. It's your fault. Because I learned some of the things were my fault. They're on you. They're on me. Then what we gonna do about it? And you can't institute something and say, when it don't work, you're in trouble today. You're in trouble in that moment. Nuh-uh. You got to give it time. Why? Because you've been harvesting and growing it for so long. It's infested. An infested atmosphere. An infested mindset. An infested behavior. You got to put them baits and traps down, and you got to start cleaning it out. You got to start sowing new stuff. Got to start cleaning. Got to start showing that love, that care, that sympathy, that empathy. Because that's your mistake. That's my mistake. Old school don't work all the time. A new mindset works. A new thought pattern works. Getting all up in their business. One of my children told me one time, I say, why man you ain't getting along? You know what she told me? Because you be all up in my business. I laughed. Then I'm doing my job. And we were cool after that. And I said, thank you. But thank you for telling me that. Matter of fact, it strengthened our relationship. She said, because you're all up in my business. I said, oh, thank you. Because I had to know what was going on. And then she told me. And then I, explained it to her. What I was trying to accomplish. But then it also opened up something else. What did I want from her? And what did I want her to do? Because that matters. And I can't have her doing both at the same time because she needed to understand. And then I have to put the onus on me. I can't be expecting too much. She's a teenager, for crying out loud. But if I'm direct and don't set the boundary too high, because Lord knows she done set the boundary high herself just because I'm the parent. We don't have to carry them. We can walk with them. And then, if you're one of them parents that would do anything for your child, don't do everything for them. But I tell my son, look, you go to school, get your education, and I'll fight all your battles. Any issues, just let us know. Just let us know. You only have one life to live. Communicate. Communicate is the option. It's one of the main options. Okay? Now, enough of that. Remember, accountability, love. Let's make the choices. Family, let's come back to the dinner table. Let's talk. Keep the doors open. All right? Get in your children's business. Hey, one of the ways I believe we can solve this mental health issue with our children, let's get back at the dinner table. Let's not just go on trips to get away from our problems. Let's not just see therapists and all, because that's good, and the pills. Let's get at the table. Let's get back to eating dinner together. All right? Cooking together. All right? Understand we got the video games and the tablets and the phones. Hey, it's all good. I'm not against none of that. Matter of fact, they're lifesavers. Trust me. But what I am saying, it works. I try to make sure we've been eating dinner together as a family way back when a lot of our children were little. And it's still a practice in our household. It works. Can you imagine what comes out at the dinner table? It's amazing. It is amazing. And it is helpful. It is healing. It is freedom. And it is encouraging. Okay? Try it, families. For mental health, get back to the dinner table. Yep, tensions can run high sometimes. But what a perfect place. It was intended for, the table. A lot of things, this is spiritual. God love you. A lot of things are in the house. A lot of things are in the house. They're not outside the doors. It's not in the streets. It's not in the doctor's office. It's not in the hospital. It's in the house. A lot of the remedies are in the house. Parents, it starts with us. We had them, it starts with us. The family. The family. The family. We could do this. The family. How many families out there want to do it? How many families out there want to claim back their children? Claim back their authority and love, their understanding, their imprint. Love, we can do it. We can learn how to love right. Agape, I can do anything. Not just, working and putting the bread on the table. Dads, we got to get involved. I know we got to do a lot of work, pour the hours, but sometimes we can't sacrifice it all for the sake of our involvement in the lives of our children. And moms, some of us, just those careers, we got to be there. And sometimes it's not about just having them active. Sometimes children, they just want us to be there. Kids are funny. You know what I've learned with kids? And I come from a big family myself, family of 13. We do some, children act out attention. Some of the things will stop if we just give it to them and stop making excuses. Sometimes making them go read books. Reading is fundamental. Trust me. Me and my son, we took a break to make this so we could read. But we're doing the reading together. Let's not try to make excuses and substitutes and find other means of having our children raised or pushing it on someone. Mentor your own kids. And then if you want them to get more mentoring, okay. You want to find ways for them to get extra help? Okay, I'm for it. I am. But don't let that require you not being who you should be. It's in the house. God's got your back. Even if you don't believe, God still got your back. Family is important. Family is important. We can't wait till they're in the ground or in prison or out there, whatever's going on, whatever they're doing out in the street. We can't wait for that. We can't wait for what we hear on the news or what they're seeing on the news or what happened to their friends or their cousins or whatever. Take the family back. Parents, guardians, take the family back. Remember when Channel 13 News or news used to come on, wherever part of this world you in? Do you know where your children are? Yeah, ask that question. When your children, do you know where your children are? When they come home, don't let them just run out the door. You can't let them do that no more these days. Nuh-uh. Park it, take a break. You got homework? Got this, that? I understand they need to release before they come home. Take a break. Every kid is different. But all kids are the same. They need that love and involvement from their parents. They long for it. It's up to parents to give it. Whatever the guardian is in the home, to give it. And if you got issues as a parent, drug addiction, alcohol, seek that help. Because that affects the child. If you got a foul mouth and it's just or whatever it is that's affecting you, whatever happened to you as a child, you got to get help. Because it's affecting you and your parenting. You can't block that stuff. That stuff affects you. Trust me, I know. That's another segment. Because your kids need your unconditional love, undivided attention. And they need it even when they're a teenager. You can't put the burden on them to govern themselves accordingly. They're not ready. Read what's going on in their head concerning their brains. Educate yourself. Stop letting everybody else raise your children. The internet, the TV, their cell phones, their friends, the school, the clubs. Parents, let's raise our kids. Raise them according to the plan that God has you raised in your household. You don't have to raise them like your neighbor, like your cousin, like your aunts or your uncles. No, God has a plan for your particular family, whether you know it or not. Raise them. Don't push them on somebody else. Take back the home. Take back your life. The pandemic showed every family, whether we ignore it or not, saw it or not, what's needed. We were spending too much time with each other, and we didn't like it. We have to go outside. We need to get outside and breathe. And I can't. Friends, no, family. We gotta get out to the stores and this and that. No, that's the economy. We need it. Families need family. Don't want to talk. Yep, we suffered a lot. Too much computer. But did y'all know before the pandemic, they was already on their computers a lot. It's just it was too much computer related to school. That in my opinion, that's what harmed children. Too much computer related to school. But when they got out of school, they went right to the computer. Oh, but I didn't say that. I mean, I don't know. I ain't in your household or whatever. But in my household, they ain't. I mean, you know, we're in my son's business. I mean, my son always be like, my son acted like me one day. He said, next thing I know, you'll be like, TJ, Tyra. And I just laugh, you know, because that's true. You know, I'm glad my son know me and stuff. But not as well as he think he is. But I'm glad he know me. But parents, I love you. And we're doing our best all across the world, especially in America. You know, everything's been hard on us. We didn't ask for a pandemic, but we went through it, and I pray to God we're coming out of it. But let's band together and be there for each other, and just be there and encourage each other and each other's children, because we need to know where our children are. Be there for our children. We take back our homes, take back our families, claim our kids, get involved. And I'm just staying in the home. We get the streets back. Get them. Don't let the kids go wherever they're going. Be in their business. A lot of things have changed. A lot of things have changed. A lot of things have changed. And if you're not a believer, God is always first. Look, to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, thank you for an opportunity just to be here. Everything. I love y'all. Don't forget, like me, comment me, Tyra R for life. I look forward to seeing y'all again. And I'm out.